Friends killing friend. Skylar Neese was just like any other 16-year-old girl, but to her parents, she was exceptional. There were no words to describe how much Mary and Dave Neese loved their daughter. Throughout her childhood, she shared a strong bond with her parents. Despite not having as many advantages as other children in Star City, West Virginia, Skylar was happy with how things were. Reading and school were Skylar's passions, which set her apart from the rest of her peers. She was an intelligent girl with a bright future ahead of her. Not only was Skylar brilliant in the classroom, but she also had a natural gift when it came to empathy. Unlike other girls her age, Skylar was interested in global warming and social issues, such as racial discrimination and homosexuality. When Skylar was in the second grade, she met Sheila Eddy, and the two immediately became good friends. As only children, they had a lot in common. During the summer months, Sheila and Skylar would spend every moment they could with each other at the local swimming pool or the community center in their neighborhood. After school started, the girls stayed over at one another's house. A car accident left Sheila's father out of work when she was a child, causing stress on her parents' relationship. Her parents separated in 2000, and her mother remarried soon after. Sheila and her mother moved from Star City to a nearby town, but Skylar and Sheila reconnected at University High School in 2010. At University High School, Skylar and Sheila met Rachel Schoaf, who would complete their trio. Once the three girls formed a bond, they were rarely seen apart. Rachel was an only child like Skylar and Sheila. She was a devout Catholic and attended a Catholic high school before transferring to University High School, where she continued to follow her faith. Unlike her two new friends, Rachel came from a more wealthy family. Skylar, Sheila, and Rachel quickly got into trouble after becoming friends. They experimented with smoking, drinking, and staying out late. Skylar's other friends avoided hanging out with her when Sheila was around. They weren't fond of her. Rachel's old high school friends also felt the same way about Sheila. Even with their friends' reservations, Rachel and Skylar stood by Sheila. Skylar was the one who kept Rachel and Sheila in check when they got wild. The three girls completed one another in a way. While the girls were initially inseparable, their group dynamics changed dramatically over time. After Skylar witnessed Sheila and Rachel drunkenly hook up in 2011, everything changed. There has been a noticeable rift between Skylar and Sheila since that fateful night. As Sheila grew weary of Skylar, her relationship with Rachel flourished. Eventually, Rachel and Sheila began dressing alike and doing other things to leave Skylar out of the relationship intentionally. On social media, Sheila and Skylar started arguing with each other. There was a turning point in Skylar and Sheila's friendship when they traveled to Myrtle Beach in June 2012. Throughout the week, the two friends fought constantly. As soon as Sheila returned home, she rushed to Rachel's house and told her that Skylar had to go, one way or another. Skylar had started to distance herself from Sheila and Rachel. As she hung out with old friends and formed new friendships, she began to feel more confident. When Rachel and Sheila were not around to undermine her, Skylar blossomed. Her tweets began to show she no longer had affection for Sheila after months of fighting. She even started a job at Wendy's and was doing well there. Rachel and Sheila plotted Skylar's murder for months before they actually went through with it. Although Rachel and Sheila knew they wanted to stab Skylar, they weren't sure how to do it. So they searched online. They Googled the best way to kill a person with a knife. Having no idea what to do with Skylar's body after they murdered her, Rachel and Sheila tossed around different ideas. In an episode of Law and Order, Rachel saw a perpetrator feed his victim to pigs. Initially, the girls were considering this idea, but not knowing where they could quickly get a pig, they decided against it. Ultimately, they opted to lure Skylar to a remote wooded area and leave her body there. Rachel told Sheila they had to kill Skylar as soon as possible because she was heading to church camp for 2 weeks. They agreed that Skylar would die on July 5, 2012. Around 10 p.m. that summer night, Skylar returned home from work, kissed her parents goodnight, and made her way to her room. Sheila and Rachel texted Skylar all day. She kept asking Skylar if she wanted to hang out. After the fallout with Sheila and Rachel, Skylar was unsure how the night would unfold if she chose to hang out with them. Even though Skylar was hesitant, she trusted Sheila and told her she'd go out. Skylar wanted to see the best in Sheila, one of her oldest and closest friends. Her friendship with Sheila was something Skylar valued, and she wanted to try and remain friendly with her for as long as she could. In the early hours of July 6, Skylar snuck out her bedroom window and jumped into Sheila's awaiting Toyota Camry. She had no idea that in the car's trunk was a knife, a towel, and other tools her friend brought along to kill her. After leaving Star City, Sheila, Rachel, and Skylar drove along U.S. Route 19 until they reached their destination just over the Pennsylvania state line. Having smoked marijuana there often, the girls were familiar with the location. About a mile from the road, the girls left their car. They entered the woods. Skylar probably had her guard down at this point, relieved that the night was going smoothly. It wasn't until they were ready to light their joint that they realized the lighter didn't work. Skylar got up to walk back to the car to retrieve another lighter. That's when Sheila signaled to Rachel. Counting down from 3, Sheila and Rachel ran toward Skylar, stabbing her in a frenzy with the knives they had concealed. Even though Skylar was faster and stronger than Sheila and Rachel, it was an unfair 2-on-1 match. Despite Skylar's strength, she was overpowered by Rachel, who had her in size. Skylar's last words were, "Why?" as she lay on the ground and bled to death. Sheila and Rachel dragged Skylar's body near a creek, but the soil was too rocky and their shovels couldn't break through it. Instead, they buried Skylar under a tree and covered her with dirt, rocks, and other debris. After washing themselves off in the creek, Sheila and Rachel threw their bloody clothes away in a trash bag. They turned off Skylar's phone and left it near her body. It took just over 3 hours for Sheila and Rachel to murder Skylar, hide her body, and clean up the crime scene. Mary and Dave Neese woke up on July 6, 2012, and got ready for work. They assumed Skylar was still asleep and would catch up with her later that day. That afternoon, Dave came home early so Skylar could drive his car to work. When Dave got there was no one home, and Skylar's bedroom door was shut and locked from the inside. After noticing the bench outside Skylar's bedroom window, he assumed she had snuck out. In an attempt to locate Skylar, Dave called Sheila. Her last contact with Skylar was around midnight, and Sheila said she hadn't heard from or seen her since then. A short time later, Skylar's manager from Wendy's called and asked where she was. It immediately concerned Mary and Dave that Skylar did not show up for work on time. Skylar was always punctual and took her job very seriously. The situation seemed to be getting more urgent, so Skylar's parents called the police. While the police were putting together a report, Skylar's parents received a visit from Sheila Eddy. Mary and Dave considered Sheila a part of the family, since Sheila had known Skylar's family for many years. Sheila had come over out of concern about her friend's disappearance. She wanted to share details about the previous night with Skylar's parents. Sheila confessed to Mary and Dave that she and Rachel had come over at 11:00 p.m. and picked Skylar up. Mary and Dave listened to her story about how they drove around smoking marijuana. She said they dropped Skylar off at the top of the street around midnight. Skylar was afraid her parents would hear her car, and she wanted to avoid getting caught. After Skylar's parents reported Sheila's story to the police, they asked Skylar's landlord to provide footage from the security cameras in the apartment complex. In the video, police saw Skylar get into the back of the car around 12:30 a.m. Skylar and the car never returned. Officers didn't realize it was Sheila Eddy behind the wheel because the footage was grainy. Because the police trusted Sheila's story, they never checked the footage to see if Sheila had picked Skylar up at 11:00 a.m., as she claimed. As it looked like Skylar had run away, the police told Mary and Dave not to worry. They told Skylar's worried parents that Skylar would probably return within a few days. Almost immediately, Sheila began helping with the search for Skylar. As part of the search for Skylar, she hung missing person posters throughout the town. In social media posts, Sheila expressed concern for Skylar and emphasized how out of character her disappearance was. Rachel, meanwhile, left for summer camp. During one of her visits to Skylar's house, Sheila asked Mary and Dave Neese for some time alone in her room. A few minutes later, Skylar's mom could hear Sheila sobbing and found her hugging her daughter's pillow tightly. Unaware she was comforting the person who killed her daughter, Mary sat down next to Sheila and rubbed her arm. The first day of University High School was August 16th, but Skylar had yet to return home. It would have been her junior year. There was no sign of progress in the investigation into Skylar's disappearance. Following a breakdown in the police department, Mary Neese contacted the state police to investigate Skylar's disappearance. Several bank robberies occurred in the area at the same time as Skylar's disappearance, making investigators wonder if the two were connected. Nothing ever came of that theory. Students at University High School speculated wildly about what happened to Skylar that summer night. A devastating rumor spread across Star City that Skylar had overdosed and her friends had hidden her body in a panic. As a result of the stories circulating around town, police officers decided to look closer at Skylar's closest friends, Sheila and Rachel. The three girls were not only thick as thieves, but Sheila and Rachel were also the last people to have seen Skylar on July 5th. The officers thought it would be wise to discuss Skylar's disappearance more in depth with Sheila and Rachel. Their similar stories with little to no inconsistencies made Sheila and Rachel even more suspicious to investigators. It appeared that Sheila was more confident and cocky compared to Rachel, who seemed nervous and uneasy. However, Sheila and Rachel never strayed from their stories. As the pressure mounted, Rachel started to feel the effects. Gradually, her grades began to deteriorate, her behavior outside school became more problematic, and Rachel and her mother constantly fought. One night, Rachel's mother called 911 to get help controlling her. Rachel was having a meltdown and lashing out at her mother. Paramedics transported Rachel to a mental health facility. Rachel stayed in the hospital for a week before being released on January 3, 2013. Upon Rachel's release from the facility, her parents accompanied her to a lawyer's office to meet with her attorney. The investigators on Skylar's case had already prearranged a meeting for Rachel, whom they wanted to administer a polygraph test as part of their investigation. Due to Rachel's breakdown, the investigators had to postpone the polygraph, initially scheduled for December 29th. Rachel was scheduled for her lie detector test immediately after her release, so Sheila could not sway her in any way. Investigators were hoping for some information that would help them locate Skylar, but they weren't expecting Rachel to reveal what she did. Midway through Rachel's interview, she admitted to stabbing Skylar with Sheila's help. She told them they picked Skylar up after midnight, drove her to a remote back road near the Pennsylvania state line, stabbed her to death, and buried her. Asked why they did it, Rachel only had one answer: "We just did not like her anymore." Rachel agreed to wear a wire and meet with Sheila in the hope that she would incriminate herself. Sheila failed to deal with this. However, after examining her car and finding traces of Skylar's blood and DNA, police were able to charge her and Rachel with murder. Investigators asked Rachel to take them to Skylar's body right away. As soon as they crossed the state line into Pennsylvania, Rachel led them to the tree where they hid Skylar's remains. Rachel had difficulty finding the exact spot because snow was on the ground. Therefore, the investigators had to wait and return once the snow melted. After 2 weeks, the investigators returned to the spot where Rachel had taken them, but with canine assistance. There was hardly any snow left by then. While searching for a GPS tracker that fell off the search dog, the handler came across Skylar's skeleton. The search for Skylar had finally ended after 6 long months. Rachel pleaded guilty to second-degree murder. She was sentenced to 30 years in prison and is eligible for parole after serving 10 years. Sheila pleaded not guilty to the murder and kidnapping charges against her, but then changed her plea to guilty. Following her plea, Sheila was sentenced to life with parole eligibility after 15 years. In addition to frequently visiting the location of Skylar's death, Mary and Dave Neese also constructed a memorial at the site. They worked tirelessly to campaign for what they have christened Skylar's Law. As a result of the law, West Virginia will activate an Amber Alert as soon as a child has been reported missing. The Amber Alert would happen regardless of the circumstances present during the disappearance. So there you have it. Do you think Sheila and Rachel's sentencing were harsh enough? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this video intriguing, make sure to like and subscribe to our channel for more murder stories. Thanks for watching, and see you soon in the next video.